All right, here we go. Please grab a blank piece of paper and a pencil. Now, before we get into things, please stand up. Simply standing up helps human brains become like 7% more alert. So before every adventure, please get some movement in. You can do whatever you want, right? You can do 25 jumping jacks, you can do 10 squats, or dance in place for a minute. Have some fun and get the blood flowing. This is like the easiest shortcut to better learning. Now, ideally, you're doing this with someone you care about and aim to do like one or two more of whatever it is that you enjoy doing at the start of each chapter. Okay, so go ahead, do whatever movement you want to do. Hi, Sam Goodman here, author of Life 6 Buckets and the creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Welcome to Life 6 Buckets, #1 Amazon bestseller for parents and #2 for teens. Woo! Now we're about to start chapter 1 and we're going to jump right in with a game. Now this game, it's a life changer. So let's get to it. Life's 6 Buckets, chapter 1, the $100 million question. All right, everybody. Gather around. I have a secret to share, something your parents probably don't know yet, something that has taken years to discover and the efforts of some of the world's brightest minds. I'm totally serious. But first, let's play a game. So today, we're going to meet our long-lost Uncle Joe. Now, our Uncle Joe has left us some money, and it looks like quite a bit of money. So what are we going to do with it? Well, first, let's read the letter that Uncle Joe left for us. It's a great picture of a letter. Hey kiddo, sorry I didn't get to spend as much time with you as I wanted. All right, to be honest, we never met, but I wish we had. Oh yeah, and I'm leaving you my fortune. Now to be precise, I'm leaving you my entire fortune of $100 million. Much love, your very own Uncle Joe. Okay, wait a minute. Did I say quite a bit of money? I meant a ton of money. Uncle Joe was loaded. $100 million. That's a fortune. But what will you do with it? I'll tell you what. Write down the first 2 or 3 things that come to your mind when you imagine a whole truckload of money. So much money that you could do almost anything. Now go on, write them down, and we'll go from there. Remember, there are no wrong answers, so write down the first 2 or 3 things that you think of. All right, let's see what we have here. This is where I want you to pause and actually think, what would you do with this money? This is where you have these 3 boxes. It's like, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. So I want you to pause here and think about that. What are the 3 things you want? And then when you're done, keep going. Okay, are you done? Did you go crazy? I bought an island. Sorry, not sorry. So what 3 things did you write down that you'd buy right away with Uncle Joe's fortune? Yeah? Okay, well, that's pretty interesting. Now take a moment and think, why did you want those things? Remember, there's no right or wrong answers. Now again, this is where you take your list and you like, for each item on your list, write down why you chose to purchase this thing or this experience, or why you chose to give it away to a person. So again, you have your group and you say, I want this, and then underneath it, it's because why. So I chose an island for myself because I've always wanted to wake up by the beach, jump into the ocean right away, and enjoy the sunshine while hanging out with my friends. Just don't mention sharks, okay? Thanks. All right, let's get down to some business, shall we? Last question, I promise. Now take another moment and think, now why did you want those things? Again, there's no wrong answer. So again, you got your box and it says, I want this because of this, and I want that because of this. Now let's also answer these questions about the 3 things we chose. So I do this in the following manner. And there's a box here and it says, I want blank because blank. And then I've got, and I want those because blank. So for me, it's, I want a desert island because I'll have a lot of fun swimming and enjoying the sunshine with my friends. And I want that because sharing good times with my friends and family, well, that's awesome. Okay, so now you finished those 3 sections. How did it go? Let's take a look. All right, that's great. Now, y'all did a great job filling this out. Those 3 things that you chose each fits into a bucket. A what? That's right, a bucket. Hi, I'm still Sam Goodman. Now, I hope you enjoyed that little adventure. Now, coming up next is a super short chapter, but afterwards, I promise you'll probably never look at people the same again. All right, be good and be bold. Oh wait, one more thing. If you're enjoying this, share this with someone you care about. It's those actions that really make the world a better place. Bye for now. Now, because you are on the adventure for kids over 10, we have a few more activities for you to uncover some of the additional hidden gems within the $100 million questions. It's going to be easy, and I promise you're going to enjoy it. You ready? If you're already doing this with someone you care about, you're ahead of the game. Now, for those of you who are not, please, before you step into chapter 2, grab a couple of your friends and family members and lead them through the same simple exercise, right? The $100 million question, and then compare notes. Now, don't worry, you don't need to know what the buckets are yet, and no peeking. Now, when comparing their choices, you may see that people can want similar things for different reasons, so the same what's for the different whys, or you might find that they have different things for the same reason, so different what's for the same whys. Compare what you've all written down, discuss it. You might just be surprised on how this simple sharing can open up new understandings between you. Now, I feel like this is the beauty and the power of sharing. It's not just knowing what we want, but understanding our whys. And sometimes seeing through other people's lenses might even change our own what's. Did someone come up with something that was so inspiring that you wish you thought of it? I know I did. Now, once you have finished this, you're ready for the next chapter. It's a short one, but I promise it will change how you see the people around you. See you in chapter 2. If you just went through the additional activity for chapter 1 with your friends, you can skip ahead. Now, if you took some time off after chapter 1, please stand up and do your favorite movement. Then take a moment to reflect, or even better, discuss how you and your friends may have had similar what's with different whys, or different what's with similar whys. Sam Goodman here, author of Life's 6 Buckets and creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Welcome back to Life's 6 Buckets, chapter 2. Now, I hope you had fun with the game in chapter 1. I'd love to hear your comments, please. Now, right now, we've got a super short chapter, and it might just blow your mind. All right, let's get to it. Life's 6 Buckets, chapter 2. You are a unique human. Okay, just in case I lost you with the bucket, let me quickly say one thing I know for certain. Even though we've never met, I know you are a unique human. Now, I couldn't possibly comment on your unique parts because there's no way I can know enough about you, about where or how you grew up, or about your family or your friends. But I do know one thing for certain. You are human. And just as gravity affects all of us, whether we know about it or not, so too are there some things that all human beings have in common. Now, every one of us, each human being, has 6 buckets, and our buckets being the whys of life. And this is something that we all share because genetically, we're 99.9% identical. That's right. We humans are far more similar than we are different. Now, on this page, you'd see the 6 buckets, and you'll see this big circle with this itty-bitty, teeny-tiny slice on it because human beings are 99.9% genetically identical, and the remaining 0.1% of the genetic material is what makes us all different. In other words, we humans are far more similar than we are different. Now, when we realize our basic humanity and our shared needs, we grow closer and increase our understanding of how to lead better and more fulfilled lives. Hi, still Sam Goodman here. So what'd you think? 99.9% genetically identical. I mean, when I first heard that, that blew me away. Well, coming up next, let's see how your buckets and what you just learned plays out in the real world. Please, again, share this with someone you care about. Now, you'll thank me for it later, like in chapter 5. Okay, be good, be bold. Hello again, adventurers over 10. Chapter 2 is super short, But before we jump into the next chapter, I hope we can do one more deep dive activity into how incredible it is that we are all 99.9% genetically identical. Now, ideally, this is something that you can do with your friends or family. So grab a sheet of paper and create two lists. On the first side, jot down all the things that describe humans in general, like breathing and eating, sleeping, pooping. These are what we all share. Now, on the second list, write down what you feel is uniquely yours, right? Your personal quirks, your preferences, and or your traits. Then I encourage you to share your lists and discover what you have in common and what's unique about each of you. This simple exercise not only reveals the beauty of our shared human condition, but also the delightful variety that each individual brings to the table. Now, once you've done that, please discuss, if we're all so similar, why do we humans more often focus on what sets us apart? And then finally, what are your thoughts regarding how might understanding our similarities versus our differences help us all live better together? In chapter 3, we'll look on how our universal needs play out across the whole world. Okay, if you just went through the additional activity from chapter 2 with your friends, please skip ahead. If you took some time off after chapter 2, take a minute and do some moving around. Then take a moment to think about how you and your friends may have had similar whats with different whys or different whats with similar whys. Okay, just in case you skip that activity because you really want to uncover the buckets, I get it, but that's kind of like first checking the punchline before hearing the entire joke, or chowing through a beautifully home-cooked meal to get to the dessert. Remember, understanding a skill is not the same as absorbing it. Hi, Sam Goodman here, author of Life 6 Buckets and creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Welcome back to Life 6 Buckets, Chapter 3. Now, I hope you enjoyed Chapter 2 and learning why and how we are all far more similar than we are different. Now, coming right up is another super short yet incredibly impactful chapter that shares how all of our similarities and all of our uniquenesses actually work in the real world. Let's get to it. Life's 6 Buckets, Chapter 3, Life's What, How, and Why. Now, this is a short chapter, but this is a big idea, and I'd really like you to spend a little bit of time thinking about this. Now, we just talked about how every human has 6 buckets, the fundamental whys of our life. But there's more to this. So what makes us unique? It may be the order of your buckets. We all have the 6 buckets, but the order of your buckets may be different. Some of us prefer 2 or 3 of these buckets over the rest. And of course, the how you live your life, your culture, or your religion may be different. And the what you do to fill your buckets, well, that is uniquely yours. So if you think of this from like 3 concentric circles, so a small, bigger circle. On the outside, you've got the whats. This is what you do to live your life. These are your specific and unique personal choices. This is what you do to make your life have meaning. Now, inside the what is the how. So how do you live your life? And this is very much affected by your culture, by your religion, or your beliefs. Now, around the world, different cultures and beliefs and religions have grown up over time as the people from that area sought out ways to fill their buckets as a community. Now, inside the how lies the why. The why is what all humans share. And the why is where we have life's 6 buckets. So, what are those buckets? And what do we put inside of them? Let's find out. Hi, still Sam Goodman here, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about life's what's, how's, and whys. Now, coming up next, we finally get into what are life's 6 buckets. If you're learning something, share it with those you love. All right, be good, be bold. Hello again, adventurers over 10. Another super short chapter. Now, before you get into the next chapter, I hope you can take just a few minutes to consider the 3 concentric circles, the what, the how, and the why for your own life. What are the specific actions or activities that you enjoy day to day? These are your whats. And then how might these have been influenced by your culture or where you grew up, your hows? This could be a free flow discussion with your friends or just jot down your thoughts privately. Okay, so if you just went through the additional activity from chapter 3 with your friends, please jump ahead into chapter 4. Now, if you took some time off after chapter 3, take a minute and do some of your favorite moving. Then super quick, before we do the big reveal of the 6 buckets, how would you rank the first 3 chapters in terms of what's your favorite so far? Like, which is number 1, which is number 2, which is number 3? Was doing the $100 million question activity your number 1, or discovering the similar what's with different whys, or different what's with similar whys with your friends? Or was it that all humans are far more similar than they are different? 99.9% genetically identical, to be exact. Or was it the life's what's, how's, and whys? Again, hoping you're doing this with someone you care about. So please ask them which was how they ranked it and which was their favorite and then why. And then when you're done, let's get into chapter 4. Hi, Sam Goodman here, author of Life 6 Buckets and creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Welcome back to Life 6 Buckets, chapter 4. Now, I hope you enjoyed chapter 3 and learning about life's what's, how's, and whys. Coming up, we finally get into discovering what are Life's 6 buckets. So let's get to it. Life 6 Buckets, chapter 4, your 6 buckets. And here's a great picture of 6 different buckets, all different colors, not quite of the rainbow, but you'll get the point. Bucket number 1, safety. We all want to feel safe and sound, and this bucket is where we do or put things that make us feel safe and secure, right? Some people feel safe with lots of money in the bank, having a home or a secure job, while others may enjoy learning skills to help them cope with the dangers, while others may choose to avoid dangerous places and things. So what do you do? What makes you feel safe? So think about what are some of the things that you like to do to feel safe. So this is where I want you to take a minute and think about this. To feel safe, I like to, and insert your favorite things. These are the what's that you do to fill your bucket. So what do you do to feel safe? Then continue when you're done. Okay, bucket number 2, fun. Everybody likes to have fun, right? We love to feel good and enjoy life with friends and activities. Now, there are many, many books written about all the various things people can do to feel good and have fun. Now, this can be from reading a book to eating rich chocolate fudge to skydiving. Everyone has their own favorite way. Now, to do this, some of us just need to learn how to relax and hang out. So think about this. This is where you pause and tell me, what are some things that you like to do or have to help you feel good and have fun? Take a minute, think about it, write them down, and then please continue. Okay, bucket number 3, significance. Well, what does this mean? Well, we all want to feel like we matter, like we're seen, like that in this big wide world, someone notices us and says, hey, I see you, you matter, you're important. Now, there are many, many ways to fill this bucket, from being a valued friend, a family member, or contributing to a team or your community. Now, other people matter, and they matter to us. Sometimes adding value to others is actually the best way to fill our own buckets. So take a moment and tell me, what are some of the things that you like to do to help you feel that you're significant, that you matter? Then once you're done, please continue. Bucket number 4, connections. Well, we humans, we are social animals. We all need to feel that we belong, that we're loved and connected with our friends and our family. This bucket is for those you care about. Now, always make the time and effort to take care of them, and in turn, they will do the same for you. You see, we're all hardwired for physical contact, this face-to-face interaction, something that, screens just on their own, they cannot deliver. So take a moment and let me know, what are some of the things that you like to do to help you feel that you're connected with those you love? And then when you're done, please continue. Bucket number 5, growth. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means improvement. We all want to feel like we're becoming a better version of ourselves. It means turning a dream into a goal and working towards it. So growth can occur in many ways, from learning, from training, from pushing our limits, and expanding our comfort zones, be they physical, mental, or emotional. So what are some of the things that you like to do to help you feel like you are growing? Take a moment, write these down, then please continue. Okay, last but not least, bucket number 6, a better world. Now, we all need to feel, even in a small way, that we're making our world a better place, that we're doing our part in our fair share. Now, for some, this means keeping the world clean and contributing to the greater good. For others, it's more local, helping out in their school or in their neighborhood. That fills their buckets. So what are some of the things that you like to do that feel that you're making the world or your world a better place? So pause here and write down a few things that you like to do to help you feel that you're making your world a better place. And then when you're done, let's continue. Okay, let's get back to Uncle Joe, or Mr. Moneybags as I like to call him. Now those 3 things that you wanted to buy, the first ones that popped into your head, which buckets did they go into? I'll go first. I did choose a beautiful island after all. And that would go into bucket number 2, my fun bucket. We all like to have fun, right? Now I also chose to give a lot of money to my friends and family. I mean, how much fun can you have by yourself, right? Well, that goes into bucket number 4, my connections bucket, maybe my significance bucket. And my last one, I chose a rocket ship because, okay, now I'm joking. Number 3, I decided to give a lot of money to good causes. Now, which bucket does that go into? Can you guess? That's right, bucket number 6, for a better world. Okay, now it's your turn to go through the list and choose which buckets they fit into. So we've got the 6 buckets here. We've got safety, fun, significance, connections, growth, and better world. So take a moment and think of the things that you chose and which bucket do you think they would fit in. Now when you're done, please continue. Hi, still Sam Goodman here. Now I hope you enjoyed that exercise and I really hope you got to enjoy it with your child or with your best buddy. Now, I'd love to hear your comments about how you and your child enjoy filling your 6 buckets. Now coming up next is one of my favorite chapters that is science-based and it's literally something that most people don't know. Now again, if you're enjoying this book and if you're learning something, share it with those you love. All right, be good, be bold. Okay, so now that you know the 6 buckets and assuming you spent the time to think about what you do to fill each of your buckets, if you're not already, take some time to discuss with those you care about what they do to fill their buckets and which are their core buckets. Then discuss which buckets are you filling the most and which ones are you filling the least and why do you think this may be? And then discuss it as a group. Okay, if you just went through the additional activity for chapter 4 with your friends and you're still going strong, please take a short break. Go outside, take a walk, then do your minute of favorite movements because chapter 5 is a big one. If you took some time off after chapter 4, take a minute to do your favorite movement, then take a minute to think about or discuss back to which of the buckets are you filling the most and which are you filling the least. Now, of all the different things that you enjoy to fill your buckets, do they feel all the same? Hi, Sam Goodman here, author of Life's 6 Buckets and creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Welcome back to Life's 6 Buckets, Chapter 5. Now, I hope you enjoyed Chapter 4's 6 buckets and identifying some of the what's that fill your bucket. And if you did, well, get ready for yet another concept that will absolutely improve your life. Now, don't forget, if you're enjoying the book and if you're learning something, please share it with those you care about. All right, let's get to it. Life's 6 Buckets, Chapter 5, Maximizing Smiley Faces. This is one of my favorites. Here we go. All right, so now that we've answered these questions about which buckets are being filled in, let's take a closer look at what we do to fill our buckets. Remember, this is on the what sign, what we do, the things that we do. Now, since we do not live alone on an island, our lives kind of look like this chart. So we've got life's 6 buckets on the left, safety, fun, significance, connection, growth, and better world. And on the right, we've got 3 columns. For me, we, and that means you and your friends and family, and then all, or everyone else. Now, let's ask ourselves a few questions to see if we can figure out where things in life go, like which bucket do they fit into and which box or column do they fill up. For example, if I'm playing video games alone, well, it's fun. So if we look on the chart, safety, fun, significance, connections, growth, and better world, well, that'll hit the me, fun. Check. Now, if we get to a new level, we could maybe sort of say growth as well, but perhaps that's a bit of a stretch. But let's say I'm playing video games with my buddy and she's winning and I'm getting upset. Okay, wait, sorry, that's a completely another story. But let's just say that we're playing video games together and we're having a blast. Now, which bucket does that go into? It can fit into more than one bucket, you say? Well, you're smarter than I am, I think, and you're right. Let's take a look. Playing video games with my best friend fills a couple of buckets. It fills fun and connection. It's both me and we, isn't it? Like sometimes the things we do fill more than one bucket and more than one column. And it's knowing this fact that can help us better balance our 6 buckets. But wait, there's more. Now, we can all enjoy things on our own, but science has shown over and over again that having fun with a friend or family member can be more fun and the good feeling lasts longer. So this is connected with us being humans and humans being mammals. And basically, mammals have been hardwired to be social longer than we've been human. Our brains release additional happiness chemicals when we're social. Plus, we tend to relive or remember these social experiences more often, thus getting us additional hits of these happiness chemicals. Okay, so let's go over this bucket chart. Now, again, the bucket chart, you got your 6 buckets on the left and the me to we to all. So it's safety, fun, significance, connections, growth, and better world, and then me, we, all. So it's a 6x3 chart, or you got 18 boxes. Now, when you do something for yourself in the now, or present moment, you're filling buckets 1 through 4. So safety, fun, significance, and connection in the me column gives you 1 smiley face. Now, when you do something that helps your future self, filling buckets 5 and 6, growth and better world, well, give yourself 2 smiley faces. Now, again, because humans are hardwired to be social, our happiness grows when we're doing things with or for others. So if you look at the chart, if you go into the first 4 buckets in the we column, safety, fun, significant, connections, you get 2 smiley faces and then 4 smiley faces for growth and better world. Now, when we add the greater good into the mix, it gets even better. So now in the all column for the first 4 buckets, safety, fun, significance, and connections, you don't get 1, you don't get 2, you get 4 smiley faces. And in growth and better world, you get 8 smiley faces. Now this bucket chart, when you look at it this way, helps you maximize your smiley faces. Now here's an extra bit, and even though we're talking about smiley faces and charts and stuff like that, this is all based off of the different neurochemicals. When we play and do things with ourselves, we're getting basically 2 neurochemicals. We're getting a dopamine and we're getting a serotonin. But when we do things with and for others, well, then we get the oxytocin. And oxytocin, which they call the cuddle molecule, that's like the best one that you want in this cocktail of neurochemicals. And when you're doing things with or for others, that's when you get the oxytocin. And that really takes the happiness and the good feeling into a greater depth and lasts way longer. And again, these are experiences that you have that you get to relive over and over again. So you're getting this drip of oxytocin and happiness over and over and over throughout your life. It's not just a one-shot deal like when you eat a piece of chocolate cake. Okay, from here, let's work on a couple examples. I'd like you to think of these from some real-life scenarios, and I'd like you to circle in your head some of the boxes that they would fill. Now, again, looking at the chart, you've got the 6 buckets on your left: safety, fun, significance, connections, growth, and better world. And then on the right, you've got me, we, all. And when you think about it, what is good for me now? 1 smiley face. Good for me in the future, 2 smiley faces. And then good for us in the we column, 2 smiley faces. Good for us in the future, 4 smiley faces. Good for all, 4 smiley faces. And then good for all of us in the future. Again, these are all top 2 better world growth, 8 smiley faces. Okay, so think about this. You got you and your best friend are cooking dinner for someone you really care about. You'll then share the photos of the meal with the family that's far away. Now, which of these would you, if you were to create that chart, which of these would you be circling? Go ahead, take a moment, think about that. When you're done, keep going. So for your second example, you're going to compile a This Will Make You Smile playlist of your favorite songs for your favorite person who's over 40 years old, or maybe another one for someone who's under 80 years old. And then when you're done, you're going to share this playlist online. Okay, think about which of those buckets would you be filling, and when you're done, let's move forward. Okay, the third and final one, you and a family member swap an hour of watching TV or gaming to take a walk through a park. Think about that. Which of the buckets does that fill, and which column does that fill? Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, let's move on to chapter 6. Hi, still Sam Goodman here. Please tell me what you enjoyed most about the bucket chart. Now, coming up next is chapter 6 and 7, because together they share one of the simplest and yet most misunderstood truths about life. All right, be good, be bold. Oh wait, one more thing. If you're enjoying this, share this with someone you care about. It's those actions that really make the world a better place. Bye for now. Okay, so before you move on to the next chapter, I hope you can do 2 things. Please lead a friend through the bucket chart concept and create 2 to 3 more scenarios that you feel would fill the most buckets and generate the most smiley faces. Then discuss how you might use this chart in terms of how it may help you lead a more fulfilled life. Okay, if you've taken a break, please take a moment, do a minute of your favorite movement, and then please review some of the extra activities you and your friends came up with to fill your buckets and maximize your smiley faces. Then please discuss with your friends, what do you think happens when someone is hyper-focused on filling just one bucket? Hi, Sam Goodman here, author of Life 6 Buckets and creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Well, welcome back to Life 6 Buckets, chapter 6 and 7. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning from chapter 5 about how you can easily get greater happiness into your life. Now, coming up, I share why most people overwork themselves and why others can be considered successful and yet still feel miserable. Let's get to it. Life 6 Buckets, chapter 6. Bucket neglect equals feeling empty. Now, perhaps you're saying, "Oh, Sam, I know this already." Yes, but sometimes life happens so fast that we forget some of our buckets aren't filling up, and that's why we need to learn how to take care of all of our buckets. You see, sometimes we pay attention to only one bucket or 2 and forget the rest. And that's why it's important to know your core whys. Now, your core whys are what you value the most, whether you realize it or not. Now, those things that you chose with Uncle Joe's money, that's right, those are your core whys. And understanding your core whys help you know how to take care of all your buckets throughout life. Life's 6 Buckets, chapter 7, balancing your buckets. So our long-lost Uncle Joe had a friend, Bob. Now, Bob had so much money, even more than Uncle Joe, if you can believe it, but he wasn't happy. He spent all of his time trying to make more money. Does that sound familiar? I mean, oftentimes, someone has a lot of one thing, be it fame, wealth, or things, but they're still unhappy. Now, the answer is in the buckets. Some of Bob's buckets were probably empty because Bob didn't know about Life's 6 Buckets, and so he never thought about them. In a nutshell, a neglected bucket tends to be an empty bucket. And when one of your buckets is empty, well, guess what? You feel empty. So I might be happy on my big, expensive island under the sun for a while, but if my other buckets are empty, well, I'm going to grow sad. I'm going to feel empty and alone. Ultimately, a fulfilled life comes from balancing all of your buckets. Now, balancing your buckets isn't hard when you know about them. Like sometimes you're filling one and not paying enough attention to the others. I mean, this takes time, it takes practice, and of course it takes effort. And you don't have to fill all of them,
but you do have to attend to them. You have to pay attention and never neglect any of them. Now, if you balance your buckets, then you'll balance your life. And a balanced life brings fulfillment and joy. Now, let's just start off with something easy, something all of us could do. Let's just take a few minutes each day and ask our friends or ourselves the following questions. What did I do today that filled my buckets? And then, which buckets need some attention? So when we ask ourselves these questions, we're thinking of all the good things that we've done, which by itself is always nice, because we're also paying attention to our buckets. We're not forgetting them, and maybe, hopefully, tomorrow we'll better know which buckets need some more attention. All right, I gotta go write a couple thank you letters to Uncle Joe, and I need to make a few phone calls. I think I'm gonna take a break from this island and fill some more buckets. Good luck.
Hi, still Sam Goodman here. All right, raise your hand if you realize that you've been neglecting a bucket or two. I know I did. Now coming up next, get ready for our most controversial chapter. Be good, be bold. Okay, here are a few more discussions for you. Number one, so now that you've discovered what your core buckets are, which of your buckets do you feel you focus on the least? Number two, as a personal reflection and then a discussion with your friends, now that you know what your core buckets are, how has that changed the way that you see yourself? And how, if at all, has it changed the way you've seen others? Number three, have you discovered anything you want to start doing to increase your smiley faces? What might that be? Number four, how might you increase your overall smiley faces, like personally or with your friends and or with your family? Okay, if you've taken a break, please take a moment and do a minute of your favorite movements because, well, if you're over 40, this is a heads up, you might just hate me after this chapter. A lot of people over the age of 40 find it takes them outside their comfort zone. I mean, when I was doing this, it certainly did for me. Sam Goodman here, author of Life 6 Buckets and creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Welcome back to Life 6 Buckets, Chapter 8. Now, if you missed the last one, we put Chapter 6 and 7 together. You really should check it out. It contains a mistake just about every miserable person alive has committed, and it's a really easy one that you can avoid. Now, up next is the chapter most adults and almost all parents immediately dislike. Well, at first. All right, let's get to it.
Life's 6 Buckets, Chapter 8, Why Your Parents Got It Wrong. All right, real quick. If you're a kid and you're doing this together with your parents, awesome. Just take it easy on your parents on this one. Now, if you're an adult and you're reading this along with your child, well, I hope you're laying down or sitting down and don't take it too personal because you're not alone on this one. Okay, here we go. Now, when I was a kid, my father used to say, "It's okay to make mistakes, just try to not make the same mistake twice," which I thought was fair. And then one day, I saw an ant walking along the rim of a wide, shallow bowl. And the ant walked along the edge, made a full circle, and kept walking. It went around the dish 3 times. And it dawned on me that it would continue on this path because it could not see the mistake that it was making. I mean, if you think you're right, you'll continue doing what you used to doing. Now, if you don't realize a mistake is being made or that there may be a better way of doing something, then you'll probably continue to do what you're used to. Oh yeah, I blew that ant off the dish and then it continued on its way. When I was a kid growing up, life seemed simple. To be happy, one simply needed success, fame, or wealth, and with one of those, really it was up to whatever you wanted, love and friends would naturally happen. The prescribed and desired path was to go to school and then on to university in order to better one's chances in life. Now, in some ways, this study smart and work hard for your goal path was very effective. I mean, it certainly increased the individual examples of success, fame, and wealth, but not as in a sense of fulfillment. In fact, the number of people who feel unhappy, hopeless, and empty, including those who've actually achieved their goals, has increased. Now, we're going to skip over the doom and gloom of depression and opioid crisis epidemics. You see, why people do what they do This has always fascinated me. Now, in my university psychology class, I learned of Maslow's pyramid and how becoming one's best self was considered to be the high point in the process of life. However, after compiling the work of leading experts in neurology, psychology, biology, nutrition, and genetics, I realized that one, what we thought would make us happy was simply too simple. And number two, Maslow never meant his work to be seen as a step-by-step pyramid. Generally speaking, we were indirectly taught that life is basically a simple math problem. A times B times C with some other stuff equals feeling fulfilled or not. We were told to KISS, keep it simple, sweetheart, or stupid, or Sam, whatever. We would insert our goals, for example, A equals success, B equals wealth, C equals love, or choose fame, expertise, family, adventure, whatever you want. And away we went, attempting to achieve our dreams and our goals. Some never actually set goals, so they just keep plodding along. Now, some never attain their goals, so they continue striving, reaching, and a rare few, well, they manage to attain everything that they set out to do. Over time, a person's identity is highly influenced by the goals that they strive for. And what typically happens when a person considers themselves, quote unquote, not happy enough, is they figure they simply have not yet reached, quote unquote, enough in their chosen pursuits. And that's easy to conclude if one has not yet reached their goals. But for those who have reached their goals, these people then double their efforts. Think about it. Wherever they are in life, they feel somewhere in their choices of A, B, and C, it's clearly not enough. So if little A times B times C and this other stuff equals not fulfilled, well, then for them, the logical step is a bigger A times B times C with this other stuff. Must equals must be fulfilled. And so they work harder. They spend even more time and effort on the path that they've already spent years, maybe decades on. Like for those who have met with success, they understandably think, you know what, I've done pretty well so far, so more must be better. If a person wants money, say they have $5 million in the bank, they figure they need to make more money, like 15, and then they will be happy. Now, if a person has a business, they feel they need to make that business bigger, then they will be happy. So if a person wants some fame, they feel they need more fame, then they will be happy. If a person wants a house or a car, then they need a bigger house or a better car, and then they will be happy. You get the point? Now, you just read Life's 6 Buckets, so this may sound silly or appear obvious, but to be fair, they're essentially doing what they were taught. They were taught to keep it simple. Just focus on a few things and the rest will sort itself out. A times B times C with this other stuff equals fulfilled life score. But the full equation isn't A times B times C with other stuff. It's A times B times C times D times E times F equals fulfilled life score. And we know that any number, no matter how big, multiplied by 0 is still 0. Think about it. What is 9 times 8 times 7 times 0 times 5 times 7 times 0? Or what is 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 0? It's all 0. Ultimately, a neglected bucket is an empty bucket. And when one of your buckets is empty, you feel empty. So remember, balance your buckets. Again, now in all fairness, what else would you expect if you weren't taught the full equation? Okay, here's a bit of a shortcut. Now, you may have heard, quote, you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others, unquote. This is airplanes, right? Like, you can't save the child if you're passed out from lack of oxygen. And this totally applies for crashing airplanes. Now, I really hope that your life is not constantly in crashing airplane mode. Now, if you can avoid the extremes, the self-absorbed, always me first, or its opposite, the never ever me, also known as always others, you can naturally sense that there's more. Again, humans are mammals and mammals are social animals. Our brains have actually been social longer than they've been human. Again, we're hardwired to be social. Sometimes helping others is the best way to help ourselves.
Hi, Sam Goodman here. Still, okay, wasn't so bad, was it? I hope you enjoyed it and can see how you can get yourself out of crashing airplane mode. Now, coming up next is the question I get asked the most. Now, again, if you're enjoying this book, if you're learning something, share it with those you love. All right, see you soon. Be good, be bold. Now, before we move on, a few more questions for you, and ideally as a discussion with someone you care about. 1, what do you feel most adults tend to focus on, and what do many neglect? Now, number 2, what do you personally focus on and or neglect? And then 3, now that you know about Life 6 Buckets and bucket neglect, something your parents didn't know about, how do you think your life will be changed? All right, here you are, almost complete. Good job. Before we continue, if it's been a while between adventures, take a moment and go over some of the earlier discussions. And then there's just one quick question before we move on. Do you think Life 6 Buckets applies to everyone? Hi, this is Sam Goodman, author of Life 6 Buckets and creator of the Fulfillment Source Code. Welcome back to Life 6 Buckets. I hope you enjoyed Chapter 8 and shared with what you learned with your parents. Not so much to rub their noses in the mistake they probably made, but instead to share with them how easily they can start to make their lives better. Now, coming up is the answer to the question I get asked the most. And then at the end, something extra that I really should have added in the book. So stick around.
Life's 6 Buckets, Chapter 9. Does Life 6 Buckets apply to everyone? Well, the answer is no. Let me explain. So what I have here is a bell-shaped curve, which is a visual explanation of the probability of a population. So it kind of looks like a hill, and on one side it's low, and then it gets to a high point, and then it goes back down. Whereby the center, the very center, the highest point, that's considered the average, the mean or the median. Now, to the left is below average, and to the right is then considered above average, with about 95% of the population falling within 2 standard deviations. And there's links later on that explain all of this. But within 1 standard deviation from the center, you've got about 68%, and 2 standard deviations about 95%. There's a small percentage of the population to the far left, and I'll say that that's way below average, and we'll call that survival mode. Now, anywhere where basic safety and survival is a constant threat, like war, famine, violence, now, this part of the population is very much focused on staying alive, not on living a fulfilled life. Now, on the other side of the curve is a small population that is thriving in a very particular area, and they're very motivated to becoming the world's greatest something. Right? They're laser beam focused on a very specific goal. And at this stage in their life, it's that pursuit which dominates their lives. So aside from these 2 extremes, I believe everyone within the 95% can benefit from the Fulfillment Source Code's 6 buckets, and hopefully taking everyone from survive to thrive. And just a side note, you don't need to agree with everything to get something out of the Fulfillment Source Code.
Hi, still Sam Goodman here. Okay, so the part that I wish I added is that the 95% really only applies to those people who want to make their lives better and have the growth mindset that they can make their lives better. Okay, so the next chapter, it's a fun way for you to put a lot of what you just covered into use. Now, I hope you enjoy.
Life 6 Buckets, Chapter 10. It's not really a chapter, this is really the part we get to have fun. So you know that we all have the same whys. We're all humans. We all need or want, number 1, safety, right? We all need to feel safe and secure. Number 2, fun. We all want to have fun and feel good. Number 3, significance. We all want to feel like we matter. Number 4, connections. We need to feel loved, connected with our friends and family. Number 5, growth. We need to feel like we're becoming a better version of ourselves. And number 6, better world. We need to feel like, even in a small way, that we're making our world a better place. Now, I think it's safe to say that you know that different people can enjoy different whats to fill their whys, right? And what's fun for you may not be fun for others. But can you see how it's possible for 2 people to enjoy the same what for different whys? Like, for example, traveling. Now, one person may love to travel to see the world, expand their perspectives, and learn new cultures and languages. So they're filling their growth bucket. Or another person is like, look, I'm just having fun. Fill in number 2, the fun bucket. Okay, this is where I want you guys to play a bit. This is the same why, different whats versus the same what, different whys. So I want you to think of some other activities and which ones they could, like, if they could fill multiple buckets. So think of an activity and what bucket they may fill. So go ahead, you guys just throw it out there. Which ones do you like? And then you guys can each say what bucket you think they fill. So this is where I want you to pause the audio and play till you don't want to play anymore. And then I've got another game for you. Okay, so this is create your 6-bucket sentence game. Now, a great way to remember life's 6 buckets, again, safety, fun, significance, connections, growth, and better world, is to have fun creating your own sentence using the first letter of each of these buckets. So S, F, S, C, G, B, W. So I started with Sam finds Sophie can grow big watermelons. Now, the one that my daughter thought up of, I'm going to change it just a wee bit, but it was smelly flatulence. That wasn't her word. So smelly flatulence surely causes giggles between witches. Whatever way you can think of a sentence with S, F, S, C, G, B, W helps you to remember safety, fun, significance, connections, growth, and better world. Enjoy, have some fun. Bye.
And if you did learn something, share it with those you love. All right, be good, be bold. All right, you did it. You made it all the way through. Now, if you skipped over some of the activities or did not have the time to do the discussions with those you care about, please feel free to go back and do them, right? Speed running through this is fast and easy, but the goal is absorbing these skills, right? There really is no shortcut. The more you are actively engaged, the greater your chances of acquiring the skills. I promise the more you discuss this with people, the better your mastery becomes. Plus, over time, your perspective actually deepens and your bucket priorities may change. Now, from here on, at the very least, I hope you and those you care about can discuss like once a week. So, what did you do last week that filled the most buckets? And what could we do next week to take care of some of the buckets that we might be neglecting? This just keeps the whole bucket chart idea fresh in your mind. Now, as a parent, if I can like do one really cool adventure a season, I think that would be epic. All right, I hope you enjoyed this adventure. Be good, bold.